So what makes a homeless student come to school every day with a positive attitude and the resolve to achieve their dreams? Where does the force that drives the student with a severe learning disability to sit in a Regents exam for 6 hours to the point of tears, refusing to give up, where does that come from? What makes the student from an abusive home come to school and treat their peers with love and respect and equality and demand tolerance? What makes a father turn down a job and a promotion to keep his son in the school he's in? What makes students beam with pride and jump at any opportunity to brag about their school? These are the stories that we are seeing unravel every single day at PTECH. A little background. HFM PTECH, PTECH stands for Pathways in Technology, Early College, High School, that'll be on the test, is made up of 15 cooperating component school districts that collaborate with over 40, probably close to 50 now, business partners in the Fulton Montgomery Community College, where we stand right now, through a participation grant with New York State. They send their students to our school to not only start high school in the 9th grade, but to start college. And we know they start college because FMCC sends us the bill. It's competitive to get in. As a matter of fact, 3 students for every seat. Because of this, we have these interviews. And in these interviews, before the students can get in, we ask these open-ended questions. Our first interview was with a student named May. I'll never forget interviewing May. May came in and she just beamed. And one of our open-ended questions was, how do you see yourself improving or impacting the community someday? And she replied, I know this sounds weird, but I'd really like to solve homelessness with dance. And I looked at May and like, go on. I always thought I could help people, but I didn't know how. It sounds crazy, but I think about, what do I have to offer? And what does the world need? Well, I love dance, and homelessness makes me so sad. So I think, what if I were to open up a traveling dance studio and travel around and teach homeless people how to dance? And maybe they would get a job dancing, or maybe they'd open their own studio, or maybe they'd just be inspired to do better and get their life in order and go get a job, get back together with their family, improve, or just become confident. And then boom, right there in that moment, I knew that it wasn't a student's grades or their discipline record that would make or break them in this program. It was their ability to think outside the box, be resilient, take risks, use their own individual talents to impact their world locally and globally. I knew students like May were the future of our school. That statement is now one of our core missions, and May is in her 3rd year here at PTECH, at FMCC, majoring in business. She just finished up her first internship with the Fulton Montgomery Chamber of Commerce, thanks to our amazing business liaison, Nicole, and our partnership with the FM Chamber, who helps PTECH connect in a very seriously meaningful way with our local businesses. Project-based learning drives the curriculum at PTECH. That means all content is delivered through projects, not just the memorization. Projects end in a public display of knowledge, a pitch, maybe a presentation, a debate, a professional fair, or even a trial by jury. Students work in small groups on everything. They create an agreement for participation and, well, for non-participation. Sometimes students don't hold up their end of the bargain. Sometimes there are arguments, and sometimes people are absent or don't do what they need to do to make the group successful. Sound familiar? Like real life? Like your workplace, maybe? At PTECH, every student goes through a one-on-one mentorship experience with a business partner, focusing on professional skills. When one of our new industry partners, Mohawk Cabinet, saw a PTECH student named Ryan to speak at an event, they immediately wanted to work with us. Their CEO, Jim, was so happy with the results that came from working with our students, he engaged our entire school to redesign his webpage and offered the winning design team a paid internship that would focus on remarketing and redesigning the Mohawk Cabinet's online parts business. Long story longer, Mohawk Cabinet now has an international web presence. They went from trade manuals, selling their parts in trade manuals and mailings, to digital globalization in just a few weeks, thanks to the students at PTECH. I have to say, it was a little weird handing the students their paychecks from the internship at the end of the school week. But as weird as it was 10 times as awesome. Some students didn't know what a bank account was, so we had to help them because they were collecting their paychecks in their purse. So we had to go and open up a bank account, which was awesome. And today, one of our sophomores, Aislinn, is introducing Google Analytics and website optimization to frozenparts.com as a paid internship. When I think about the students that made an authentic impact made on Mohawk Cabinet, I can't help but wonder, what changed? Why do they stay? Why do they choose to achieve when they didn't in the past? Why didn't they just give up? When the chips were down, why didn't they just quit? What is it about PTECH that makes them do the things they do? I asked one student, Nigel. I asked Nigel if I could use his name and tell a story. He was very excited. I asked him these questions, and he told me before he came to PTECH that his life was chaotic. His sister had passed away the year before, and he was angry at everyone, everything, and at the world. Nigel would attend 25% of his classes his 8th grade year. He even became violent sometimes. I wish you could meet this young professional now. Polite, poised, professional, succeeding. Nigel said he could identify one thing that changed his perception of school, changed his life, really. Nigel said, coach, who never really coached any organized sports with Nigel, but used to come in early to open up the gym so the kids could play basketball and pick up ball or run around or just hang out before school. So the students bestowed upon her the most esteemed, beloved title of all, coach. She gave me space, he said. She asked about me personally. How am I doing? She asked. Not just questioning me about the class, about my grades, and harping on me about how I was doing in the class. She believed in me. You see, folks, Jamie Dickinson, like all of the teachers at PTECH, is a risk taker. An instructional surgeon with heroic aptitude when it comes to project-based learning. But most of all, she believes in the students that she teaches. She will not be deterred. Think about your most beloved, profound, life-changing educational experience. Think about that. Go there right now. Picture the teacher, the coach, the conductor, the professor who was central to this experience. Did anybody picture themselves hacking away at a pile of copied packets of busy work at the kitchen table, or hours spent with the little green Regents review books? Copying spelling words 10 times each, or listening to a lecture in a classroom filled with 200? I don't think so. Those aren't personal experiences. Those are obstacles. You have not succeeded because of those mundane experiences. You have succeeded in spite of them. Was anyone reminiscing about the standardized testing? Then why, may I ask, do we continue to make education look the way it currently looks? Why are we continuing to crank out worksheet packets as homework and call it learning? John Dewey called for the change in 1899. We still haven't realized it yet. PTECH is paperless and wireless. Every student gets a one-to-one MacBook. They take it home every day. No rows, no bells, no lockers. We have a robotics lab, and every classroom is designed after the Google offices. Yet all of these things are just things. Tools, really. A means to the ends, but not the end. Not the special sauce. The culture of this school, that's the magic. When student ambassadors are asked to talk to visiting dignitaries like up here, and when the dignitaries ask them questions like, what makes your school so special? Time after time, students overwhelmingly respond, the teachers. Saying they trust us, they let us take the lead, they treat us like adults, they let us use our judgment, good or bad, the experience is ours. When a child says the word like ours, we know that something special is going on. We've been trying now for 3 years to try to figure out what's going on at PTECH and why what is happening is happening. And after a body of work was discovered, and quite honestly just stumbled upon by listening to a podcast called Freakonomics, I got interested in behavioral economics. Tversky and Kahneman said, it's not the data that drives perfect decision-making. No, the experts that are creating that data are wrong. It's your experiences and the way you frame these experiences. It is your belief or your perception of what you mean or the value of yourself to your organization or to your school. It is your perception of your value. Just the past couple of weeks, I was at a local school district giving a talk very much like this, hoping that some 8th grade students would apply to our program. And when I started out, I said, think about your perfect school. You have all the money you could ask for. You have access to the best teachers, best technology, best furniture. What does that school look like? Schedule, anything is yours. Go ahead. And first it was silence. And I want you to think about your perfect school too. When these students started popping off, they started saying things like, well, we want to use our cell phone all the time. We want more space in our lockers. Well, what do you mean? Well, we're sick of jamming stuff into a small space and crowded with each other. We want more space. And then another student will call out, yeah, and we want space to plug in our devices. And another student would say, hey, we want to be with our friends all day long. We want to work with our friends. Another student said, we want the middle of the day to stop. And we want to just do what we want to do in the middle of the day. We get to choose. And I was waiting for it. Another student yelled out, Golden Corral in the middle of the school. I was surprised it took so long. Another one said, Starbucks. I'm like, okay, this was actually longer than I thought it would take for you guys to get to the food, but so noted. The students then asked, we don't want to be lectured to anymore. Please stop lecturing. Noted. The students wanted comfortable spaces. They said soft rocking chairs and chairs with wheels. And the more they kept talking, the more I smiled. They wanted to be in control of their education. They wanted it to mean something to them and be real. So at the very end, as students were throwing out what their perfect school would look like, I just smiled back at them and I said, you just described PTECH. Want to come? Thank you very much.